Gotta kick off the show here.
We're agreeing!
So cleaned up. Welcome in Bill's Mafia to another episode of the Mafia Cast. We are here Monday evening, one more day closer to the start of the 2024 season. It cannot get here soon enough. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. Had
Why
a
you gotta
good weekend.
bring me down like that right as the show starts? We've got like 173 days or whatever it is till kickoff. Like,
That ain't much though.
well, when you say it like that, it sucks. But when you think about it, like, all right,
Look.
it's already the middle endish of May. We
Yeah.
got to make it through the beginning of August that's when preseason starts. But training camp starts in July, so like we're really only like a month and a half out of football
Yeah.
if you think about it.
So
Look.
we cling to any news and event we can, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Think of it this way. Look at it this way. In less than 60 days, we will have college football 25 on our PlayStations, Xboxes, whatever. Sorry, PC gamers, it's not on there, at least not yet.
Losers.
And then we can just immerse ourselves into that. And then before you know it, it'll be NFL season.
We should tell the fans now that we might be that might be right when our hiatus kicks in. Is like
Yeah.
just like that July-ish, middle of July area.
it's
we
for,
might be gone for about 2 weeks. Research
Yeah.
purposes.
Research purposes. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes,
Exactly.
because there's all the current players now. We get to, we can do our own pure scouting out of there. And
Yeah.
we're going to learn that Kyle McCord is the best quarterback in the nation. And Ohio State should have never let him come to Syracuse because they're about to be a powerhouse.
You know, that game is being released on the 16th of July. Did you pre-order it yet? Because if you pre-ordered
Not yet.
it, you get it 3 days early, the 13th.
I'm going to. I'm definitely going to be getting that bundle. $150 for those two games combined. Like,
That's a steal.
that really, it genuinely is, and I hope that'll become like a mainstay for EA.
Oh, that'd be legit.
if they're going to put them out, like, because it's only like a month separate. So it'd be cool for them to put it out like that. Because 2K, you see the bundles. Mike and I play the 2K golf together, but you see it come out. You can do the 2K golf and the basketball combined. They've had that for every year golf games come out. So if they can, if this bundle can be a mainstay, that'll be huge, and saves everybody $20.
Gotta say, I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever had Madden 3 years in a row growing up, and now I have, and getting the college game too. Yeah, pretty excited.
I will take full responsibility,
He's
Sarah.
been
I am sorry.
Been a great influence. He's been a great influence.
Well,
Research purposes.
I have been a Madden guy every single season since I don't know, when did the game start? 89, 90? So I haven't missed one yet.
I've had every Madden since Madden 05. The first one I can remember was Donovan McNabb being on the cover. And
Okay.
then Matt, and I believe like Madden 06 was the next, or that was the first one. But I have had, that was like my Christmas present every year from my parents. Was that was one thing I wanted. It was just Madden every year. Every year I had it for my GameCube, my PlayStation 2,
I had good friends that had it anyway, so I always got to play it.
Right, exactly. I mean, I got to grow up in like the video game boom. Like Mike, you did too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And you were a little older, so you got to really experience it from the PlayStation 1 era. But
I had a
like
regular Nintendo, and then all the way up, I was PlayStation all the way, and then Xbox now.
really?
Yep.
So Ronnie, what was
Man.
your first game station? Let's
I
age
knew that
ourselves.
question.
Let's age
I knew that
ourselves
question
here.
was coming. I knew that question was coming.
Pac-Man,
So- I did play some Pac-Man, some
Asteroids.
Frogger. Asteroids,
Paperboy.
Pong, Donkey Kong was called in Intellivision set. Actually, I'm sorry, Intellivision 2. So it was IN television and then 2. Google it for a picture. It was just this rectangular shape, brown and gold thing. The control pads were rectangular, look kind of like what we now know as a cell phone. Had a keypad on it, 1 through 0, or 0 through 9, sorry. A little gold disc for your directional, some side buttons. Yeah, and that's where I learned how to play poker and blackjack and all that too.
Nice.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've never even heard of that. And I'm a video game nerd. Like I figured I would, I was waiting for you to pull out Sega Genesis. I thought that's what you were gonna pull out.
When I graduated up
But that's
to
when I was
Sega
younger.
Genesis, it was great.
Yeah.
Fireworks. I mean, it was fantastic. Now I've been a as soon as PlayStation came out, though, I went straight to the PS1, and that's where I've been ever since. But let's move forward first. So we've got a couple of things we want to get to. First of all, I want to hear from you guys. Mike and Casey got to go to the Micah Hyde softball charity event, and I again pretty jealous that I can't do those things, but you two got to go, and so let's tell everybody about it. What's going on? How'd it go?
You just got to tell yourself you can, Ron, and you'll be there.
Right. Listen to listen to the little engine that could.
You know, my wife and I were talking about this on Sunday while I knew you guys were there. We were talking about you guys being there and the stuff that you guys were doing. And I told her, you know what? We need to start a bill or Mafia Cast travel fund.
Yeah.
So that I can get out there when I need to for stuff like this. But and maybe we can make something like that happen next time. And I do hope that even if Micah Hyde doesn't return, that I do hope that either he continues this every year or somebody else on the team, maybe, because it's a really cool event. But how'd it go for you guys?
Like you said, we like looking forward to like next year. Hopefully they still have it, But yeah, what a great event. You show up to the sports stadium and it's Bills Mafia everywhere. And it's like it almost felt like game day, There was food trucks and tents set up, memorabilia, apparel, clothing, golf simulator. I mean, you name it. So what a great event. Getting to see the players, actually doing something, other than training camp or, it's just a fun thing seeing them away from football, still, and seeing who's got skills in other sports too.
Yeah. The skills in other sports, that's a really good point because we could, there were clearly some guys that were halfway decent in high school playing baseball. And then there were some guys that like clearly ran track, if you know what I'm saying. Like some guys just like Mike and I were joking. So the way it started was the home run derby was like the show opener, which was perfect. Like that was the fact that like I looked at Mike and I remember saying to him, I was like, I can't believe there's a game after this. Like that,
right.
that was worth
entertaining
it. Yeah,
by itself.
Yeah. And Mike before the home run derby, like Mike was like, one of us said, "Oh my gosh, I can't." Can you imagine they put Andy Isabella out there for the home run derby? And first person that Sal Capaccio calls up, and now from the offense, Andy Isabella, and we looked at each other like, "Oh my God, look at this little guy go!"
Yeah,
and he didn't get a single one.
He walked up like he was all business. I really thought he was going to get somebody. He didn't even get one homer.
He looked like a little Jose Altuve stepping up to the plate.
Especially with all guys like Josh out there and stuff.
Yeah. And then, AJ Epinesa, if the defense won, he definitely would have been MVP. I mean, seemed like every ball that came off his bat was an absolute moonshot rocket. It was a lot of fun. It was really fun, like Mike said, to see the players interact with each other, interact with the fans, to be competitive but not have their blood boiling. They could still
having fun.
Yeah, they were being humans. You could see them all joking around with each other and stuff like that. But I'd say probably the best part of the weekend or of the day yesterday was Mike and I. John, I'm sorry, Game On Sports memorabilia. I love you so much. You know that. But Mike and I went and got a couple of autographs yesterday. and we went to TSC and got the mystery footballs, and I pulled this '99 Hall of Fame Billy Shaw football. And Mike, why don't you tell them the story about your football?
Oh my God. I'm kind of mad that you got yours and mine's in my truck right now because I want to show it off at work. So we walked up and down the strip a few times, you know, checking out different things, doing this and that. And then, you know, we kept going by the mystery table with all the memorabilia, and we're like, Casey's like, man, I don't have a football. I think I'd get a football. And we kept going back to it.
My football and gambling addictions combined into one.
Yeah, right. That's what you said. So we, back and forth. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to get one. So we did. We went there, and Casey picked through, you know, he picked one up, and then he kind of dug in the pile a little, and he picked one, and they asked us to take a video of him open it. And he opens a Billy Shaw, right? Pretty cool and exciting. I think they put the video on the social media. I asked them to tag us. I don't know if they have, but you can check that out. But anyway, we're walking back now, doing other stuff again, and I'm like, you know what? I want one too, because I had to know what was in the first one Casey grabbed, because I'm like, you got to go with your instinct, right? So the first ball Casey picked up, and then he dug through. I'm like, I'm going back and I'm going to grab that one because I have to know what's in it, because he picked it up and set it down. So anyways, I go there, I pick that one, and then I open it up, and it is 3 panels on the ball are white, and it's got a stitched in Bills logo color. It's got Bills on the other side, the NFL logos, and it's assigned Taron Johnson. So pretty sweet. Really, really excited to pull that. Even the guys behind the table are like, wow, that's a pretty good pull, because there's not many of them, those kind of balls in there. And I don't know, seven's one of my numbers, so that's pretty cool. And Taron Johnson too, he's a heck of a player. So he's been here
I was
a
going
while.
to say, it helps that
nickel
Taron's a
corner in
hell of
football.
a player.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Definitely the best nickel corner in football. It's funny when Casey sent me a picture of the sign from Billy Shaw, my first question to him was, do you even know who Billy Shaw is?
And yes,
Billy Shaw's before my time.
I did know who Billy Shaw was. So Ronnie got to eat his crow on that one.
Hey man, I got a jersey right here.
Just because I'm 28 doesn't mean I'm clueless. But it's a good indication.
It's a good, I'll tell you, it's good to learn about players before your time. You know, it's the history of the organization we love, right? So he's a key part of history, Hall of Famer, you know, so yeah. And
that's why I like to push the history of this team and not just focus so much on the current. We're going to be doing a lot of that this summer, because, you know, after OTAs, the news kind of just falls off the cliff. We don't really get a whole lot. So we'll talk about more of the, you know, the all-time greats and things like that. So while you guys are out there having a great time, getting autographs.
Before we move on, can Mike and I tell you how we told our wives how we got footballs?
Oh yeah. Well, so yeah. Oh, you want me to tell it, or you?
Go ahead.
Well, so there's like some Bills Babe stuff there, and you know, as I'm buying myself stuff, I feel like I got to buy Sarah something too. So I sent her a picture of the table, and you know, she was interested in like the Zubaz scrunchies and this and that. But she didn't answer me what pattern she wanted immediately. So I went and bought the football, and then she finally answered me, and I'm like, well, I'm like, I wasn't sure, so I got you a football too. And then she's like, oh, great. And I said, don't worry. He goes, well, Casey says, tell her, don't worry. Lauren got one too.
So I got to text my wife and be like, babes, I got you a football from your favorite professional football player ever. And she's like, oh my God, who? Because she likes football.
Oh yeah.
I was like Billy Shaw. And she goes, who the is Billy Shaw? I was like, it's your new favorite player.
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun with that.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. I was just going to say, while you guys are out there doing that and having a great time and watching home runs from Josh Allen and AJ Epinesa and all that, I was getting pulled over by the cops.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it's the first time I've been pulled over in like 15 years. And
what happens when you drive U.S. plates across in Iran, Paparan? Come on.
He let you go, right?
I'll get to that. I didn't even see him get behind me. I don't know where he came from. I have no idea. The next thing I know, I just see lights in my rear view. So I pull over, and he comes walking up. He's nice enough. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Well, I was good up until now." He informed me that the registration on my truck had expired back in June of 2021.
What?
I know, and that was my response. Exact response. I looked. I was like, "What?" I don't know how that happened. I don't know how I've gone 3 years without noticing it. But apparently I went digging through my glove box, pulling out all these registration forms, 2016, 2018, 2017, 2019. Like, oh crap.
Wait, but so he's not just gonna notice that, right? He like tracked you down or ran your plate for some other reason, right?
One of his scanners must have picked it up.
He ran the plates, and I don't even know. I mean, I don't know what triggered him to do that. Other than if you're looking at my plates, the little registration sticker, you can't see it because I do have a Buffalo Bills frame on it.
Perfect.
So I'm thinking it's probably what prompted him to check, because you couldn't see it. So I was like, what's this guy hiding?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I come home and I'm telling my wife, and she's like, how much is a ticket? And I was like, $67. She's like, why register it then?
Right.
Well, there you go.
It's like just as much, if not more, to register it.
Well,
It's
if you stack a couple of them tickets together, they start adding up.
Well, and they can suspend your license.
So he knows what he's talking about.
I've cleaned
they'll
up.
suspend your license too if you don't take care. So I went down and took care of it today. It literally cost me twice as much as the ticket to register it. But but it's not. Yeah, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding! I haven't been pulled over, got a ticket or anything in almost 2 decades. But here we are.
So Idaho doesn't send you stuff in the mail saying, "Hey, your registration is going to be up like next month and stuff." Because even shitty old New York is like, "Oh, hey, by the way, before we bone you, like,
we'll give you a shot.
We're taking you out to dinner first."
Yeah, no, they do, and it's like one of those things. You get one note, and you take care of it or you don't. And apparently, it got lost in the shuffle of my busy life and my wife, and the other two are up to date, our other two vehicles, so we just never even thought about it.
See,
and then I'm looking at it like, oh my gosh.
Mine's up to date, but I got the old sticker still on there.
That's another difference, is that like your guys' registration goes on your plate. Like ours goes on the window, like on your
windshield,
on your windshield. So you can see, like, it's big, it's right there. So like you can see like 321 or 324, whatever.
Yeah.
I probably would have noticed it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But no kidding. See, this is why you got to move out of freaking Idaho. Get regular registrations.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was my weekend. Other than that, we, barbecues and birthday parties and shots, beer, a lot of that, some cornhole. We did a cornhole tournament. Nice. Lost that in the last round. But, anyways, let's move on. We've got almost 100 people watching us live, and they probably don't care about our personal lives. So let's talk some Buffalo Bills football, right?
All right.
I wanted to kind of touch back on really quick from last week. Last Thursday, we had Matt Perino on here talking the NFL schedule and the Bills schedule. And because the schedule came out that night, literally minutes before we went live, it was hard to really take a look at and really digest what we were looking at. And I was thinking about something as I was writing some articles over the weekend. And I had a thought. So we have 5 primetime games this year, right? 4 of them within the first 6 weeks. We close the season with the Patriots, which is odd that we would close with a non-contending division opponent. Typically, that would have been the Jets or the Dolphins. Got me to thinking, I think the NFL, the schedule makers, and the league does not see the Bills as a legitimate contender this year. I think that they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and bank on them being a ticket item early in the season, because everybody's going to want to see. They're going to want to see what they're going to do. But they don't think we're going to do anything. So then as the season progresses, they kind of pull back. We only have one primetime game after that. There's several 1 o'clock Eastern games consecutively. So that's my take on. I think the NFL sees the Bills as a non-contender this year and kind of not going to be in the forefront of the league.
You hate to hear it like that.
I've seen that take floated around a little bit, and that's why they set it up that way. And I mean, it makes sense. it's a rebuild. It is a true rebuilding year, and Brandon Bean broke down this team from top to bottom on both sides of the football. I mean, he got rid of cornerstones on like that were the foundation building blocks of this team, and so the fact that they're gone, like, yeah, everybody's going to want to see. But if it doesn't work out, the NFL, they were smart. They're going to get all their money early, let the Bills fizzle out. But if the Bills do continue to roll, like the three of us expect them to, the Week 18 game against the Patriots that's TBD. So the NFL did leave themselves wiggle room, like to kind of make up for it again, to where they can put the Bills in prime time because that's when they start doing the Saturday games. Yeah, but if the Bills are contenders, so say they and the Dolphins or the Jets, whoever, are tied for the division lead going into Week 18, the Bills are going to have the upper hand in having one more divisional game, and against the Patriots, that helps the Bills. I mean, because none of us expect the Patriots to be super good. So, I mean, the NFL's kind of like hedging their bet. Like, they're kind of getting their cake and eating it too by kind of betting the Bills won't be good, but if they are and it's tight down the end of the year, they can snap up that game like there's no tomorrow and shove it right into Sunday or Saturday night prime time.
Let's go.
Wow. Yeah, let's real quick. So John Roberts were OTAs open to the public today. I have not heard a single thing out of OTAs today, so I'm guessing no.
I assumed the same thing because I was scouring the internet and couldn't find a thing.
Nothing at all has popped up. So,
and Roy's right here. The foundation was cracking. It was cracking, and it was time, which is why I don't think the three of us were freaking out when everything happened in a matter of an hour and a half to 2 hours. Yeah, we all kind of freaked out for a little bit.
Yeah, just at the pace as what we were shocked at. Yeah,
right. It was the pace and the names of the pace. We figured Brandon Bean would just kind of do it gradually and peel each layer back one by one, but he just ripped that Band-Aid off, and got rid of everybody. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but it sucked, but it was still like, in our opinion, the three of our opinion, speaking for you guys, we all think it was the right move.
Yeah. Well, like you said,
I agree.
The foundation was cracking. We're doing the same thing over and over again, and for a few years in a row, it seemed like the same sort of ending. So
it's the definition of
something
insanity.
new. Yeah, and about the rebuilding too, like
same thing over and over.
Being a rebuilding year and having this uphill battle and stuff like that, proving yourself as a legitimate contender. Teams rebuild all the time and get hot, so you can't really rule them out. And I know everyone doesn't love the Bills. Like they're hard to love for everyone else. You can understand why, but here we are.
Yeah. We do want to talk a little bit about the defense today, but before we do that, let me ask this question to you guys. My most recent piece that I did, it just went up today, and it was pinpointing 5 games out of this coming season, that will be season defining or could be season defining games for Josh Allen. I also did one for Keon Coleman, but I want to talk about the Josh Allen one. To me, this season as a whole could be a career defining season for Allen, because there are people out there that do not believe he's basically going to be a shell of his former self without Diggs and Davis. I think we've all that watched this team closely have seen enough to know that's not going to be the case. But still, he does have something to prove to some of the national media and even some of our own fans who do not believe that he can get it done without those mainstays that we've had in the offense. So the first game that I came up with as far as a defining game or potentially was the Jacksonville game, because of the way that the Bills have struggled with the Jacksonville Jaguars over the past few years. Plus, you've got Gabe Davis over there. So what do you guys think about that particular game and maybe any other games that come to your mind as season-defining games?
I agree with that one. That's one, if I'm making the schedule and I got to throw in a few losses for the Bills, that's I could throw an L on that first on that Jacksonville game, week 3, because we always struggle with them. I think you're right there. If we can that would prove a lot, even with seeing old Bills players on the Jacksonville team. So talk about Gabe Davis and that. So yeah, beating Jacksonville, it's always been a tough hump for us to get over for whatever reason, whether they're good or not. We seem to struggle with them. After that, the biggest thing for me would be sweeping the Jets, because we always struggle with that.
Yeah, that was another one I had.
Yeah, so
That was definitely. What do you think, Casey?
I like the Jags game. That's a good one, Ronnie.
Mhm.
The Dolphins game. I mean, the Jets games. Those are always going to be big, and the Jets got better this year. I mean, they definitely got better. A big game for me for Keon Coleman though will be against Tennessee, and this might be going a little, under not talked about enough. L'Jarius Sneed is now CB1 for Tennessee. And so that means that, the Chiefs are going to be looking. I mean, I played outside, but he is 10 times better as a nickel. Like, he is a phenomenal nickel corner. But so for them losing L'Jarius Sneed and going to Tennessee, I'll be curious to see how Keon Coleman goes up against one of the best corners going in the league this right now. So, we'll see if his physicality can really, because we saw that's how Diggs got beat. Snead just kind of beat him up. He just kind of bullied him off the line. Diggs couldn't get off clean. But that's kind of where Keon, has his advantage. I mean, he's a big boy, and he's used to getting trying to be bullied around and pushed around. So if he can kind of win some one-on-one reps against L'Jarius Sneed, and we can pull a win out against Tennessee, who also got much better and going to be year 2 under Will Levis. And that's going to be a really interesting game to me.
Yeah. I cannot wait to see Keon Coleman on the field. I have seen so many tweets as of late where fans are just like, this guy has got to be good. Please, Lord, let him be good. Because of all the stuff he's doing off the field. For those, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but for anybody who didn't see it, during the rookie premiere, the NFL's rookie premiere, and they do a photo shoot for these guys, he was wearing, if you look at the picture, a couple of friendship bracelets that a kid had sent to him in the mail. Just sent him a letter, wanted to say whatever. Hey, I'm a big fan. Who knows what exactly the letter said, and he had a couple of friendship bracelets in it, and Keon actually wore them for the rookie premiere photos. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and
he's embracing this whole transition.
He is, and he's 21 years old, and he's acting like a 31-year-old vet. I love it. I hope he's good. At least good enough. He doesn't have to be the next Justin Jefferson like that. Just be good.
I told you guys the day after his press conference, and he was like, "Oh my God, the cookies!" Like I was like, he has to be good. Otherwise, this whole thing turns into a bleeping joke. It does.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
there's going to be no he's all right. If you're going to be that big of a personality, you have to be good. Otherwise, you are going to be clowned out of this league.
I got to throw it out there too. It's around the cookies. Keon, if you're listening, Spoon Liquor Cakery, Sarah at Spoon Liquor Cakery here in Rochester. She has the best custom sugar cookies ever.
She'll make you some cookies for sure.
She's working on a wedding set of Bill's cookies right now. It's pretty cool.
We're talking about the history of the Bills. Let me ask you guys this. You realize that Cookie Coleman is not the only cookie in Bills history.
Yes, Cookie Gilchrist.
There you go. Mike is looking like, cool.
I didn't know we were calling him Cookie Coleman, but we'll go with it.
I didn't know either.
Hey, we're making it stick.
I was wondering where we were going with this.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I don't want to go too deep into the games that we're kind of pinpointing as far as defining games. Obviously, the Chiefs is going to be a big game.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco is one. Allen's only played the 49ers once, and Buffalo beat them handily.
What day of the week did San Francisco play the Bills the one time that they played?
What day of the week? I don't know.
This is a great trivia question. Wednesday.
That was my other guess because that was the whole
that
COVID
was when
reshuffle.
That was when COVID and the Bills lost 13 guys or something the day before a game.
Yeah.
Maybe not 13, but they lost a bunch of guys. And in order to be able to field a team, they basically had to postpone the game, and the quarantine was like 5, whatever it was. It cleared that Wednesday, because that was like right when the whole Cole Beasley thing happened. Like that was like the week that it started.
Yeah. What
And
a
it
crazy
hasn't-
season that was.
and
My
it
goodness.
still hasn't stopped. I know, isn't it weird? Like seeing video, like scrolling Facebook, and you see old like Bills videos pop up, and you see like the John Brown highlights and the Cole Beasley highlights, and even some not Zay Jones, he was gone by then. But like, and then all of a sudden, like it's a huge long pass, they run in the end zone, and you just see a completely empty stadium.
Yeah.
It's so bonkers to me that we played an entire NFL year, well, regular season, I should say, without any fans.
Yeah, it was wild. It's
Yeah.
hard to
That
even
was
believe
crazy.
like you experienced it. It was like
Right.
just one
I
time.
know.
Weird.
Yeah. Crazy. We're obviously gonna end up going a little bit long today, but whatever, because I do want to talk about the defense. Before we do that, we got to hear from our sponsors.
Hey, it's John from Game On Sports Memorabilia. Check out our huge selection of unopened wax boxes of Pokemon cards. You have to see our selection of over 2 million sports cards in stock, plus hard-to-find card supplies. And if you have anything to sell, bring it in. We can help you determine the true value before you sell it. We pay fair market value every day. It's Game On Sports Memorabilia, 2670 Dewey Avenue in Greece. Check out our podcast for news and information on the card and collectible universe. Also, check out our Facebook page.
For more, call 481-2153. That's 481-2153.
All right, that's good. The three of us were making faces and being dumb behind the scenes.
I don't know what
Anyways,
Casey was doing.
I don't know. It looked like he was tickling his phone. I don't know. We're just gonna drop it. We'll leave it at that.
Tickling his phone. Anyways, that was John from Game On. John, again,
Yes.
appreciate you. He's in Greece, New York, Rochester, New York location on Dewey Avenue, and he's at One Staub Square in Hamburg. So go check him out. Store's got a lot of cool, great Bills stuff and much, much more.
Yeah,
So
do
check it
that.
out.
A couple of things here really quick that I wanted to. So there are we got well over 100 people watching us live right now. If you're not watching on the Mafia Cast YouTube, though, do us a favor, jump over there, watch us from there, hit the subscribe, hit the like. We're trying to blow up those numbers. We want to hit 500 subscribers before the start of the season, and it kind of feels like we hit a little bit of a lull here. We haven't had any new subscribers as of late, so help us out. Jump over to YouTube, find us at the Mafia Cast, hit that subscribe button. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because John Roberts brought it up in a comment here, Dwayne Carter is already doing community service as well. That kind of points to the fact that this was something that was talked about with this draft class quite a bit, was the leadership qualities of several of these guys. I don't know if all of them, but a lot of them were team captains last year with their respective universities and colleges. And it kind of does make sense that Brandon Beane would put a focus there given what was lost this season. And we're rolling right into the losses. Let's talk about the defense. Let's start with the safeties first. We're going to start on the back end first, because that's probably the biggest change, right? Out is Jordan Poyer. He's obviously a big fan of Josh Allen's, as he commented yesterday that we have the best quarterback in the league. I'm sure Miami Dolphins fans love that.
That I gotta say, the ovation that Poyer got was a lot stronger and a lot more supportive than I had expected.
I'm glad.
And it was, I mean, everybody stood right on their feet. Micah Hyde was the one that introduced him. He wouldn't even let Sal Capaccio do it. I mean, he said himself, he's like, I'm sorry we couldn't get it done, which speaks to me that Brandon Beane said thank you, no thank you. I think that kind of proves to me that Beane truly because we could have easily afforded the contract that Miami gave Poyer. Like, it wasn't even a question. So I think it was thank you, no thank you, more so on Beane's side than it was for Jordan Poyer. And
it could have been.
And I think the fact that Poyer and that like the Dolphins were were waiting right there, that he was like, all right, see you later.
See, that's the thing.
because he also he was not saying goodbye to Bills Mafia. He was like, he's like, this is my home. He's like, this is exactly like this.
Yeah.
Bills Mafia is everything. Like I really wish I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah. He even, he loves
See,
us all. And he even said we heard it with our own ears. We got the greatest quarterback in the league. So.
Right.
We'll never know what transpired behind closed doors, but we do know that Jordan Poyer's wanted to go to Miami for a minute. It's where he's from. It's his hometown essentially. So, but I did notice too in his farewell speech yesterday during the charity event, this isn't a goodbye. This is a see you later. I don't see them coming back to Buffalo after they retire because, well, not to get too much into the weeds and stuff, but we know his wife does not like New York. Even he has commented about the taxes and things like that and political stuff.
I was going to say,
don't see them coming back.
They deserve to enjoy some good weather, man.
Yeah, I have no fault with him going to Miami. I'm not one of those that's going to be like, oh, I can't believe you went to division rival. You're terrible. Thurman Thomas did it back in when he was released from the Bills and spent a season in Miami. He did re-sign the next year with Buffalo on a one-day contract so he could retire as a Buffalo Bill. And I do wonder if Poyer will do that.
That's exactly what's going to happen. That is 100%
I hope so.
Exactly what's going to happen. And like Roy said, or like John Roberts said, Josh had the fans chanting one more year. He was the one that started that for Micah Hyde. And it was authentic. Like Micah Hyde was done giving a speech, and Josh snatched that thing out of his hand, and he just went at it. So that kind of goes to show you how much these safeties truly meant to this team as a whole, not just that defensive back room or the defensive room. So I think Micah is done because I think if he was going to come back, he would have done it after Josh got everybody going yesterday. Because you could tell Micah, there was something that he wanted to say. Mike, we stood there watching the monitor.
Yeah, we were like,
you could tell there was something
he
wanted to say, and he's like, I can't do it. So I think Micah might be done.
I hope he comes back. I do.
I hope he comes back too. I just being greedy, but as a person, it's scary. Two neck injuries in a matter of a year is what scares me.
Here's the thing, and this is what I talked about. Why I wanted to talk about the secondary or the safeties first. Even if he comes back, to me, he's not the starter. And I had this debate with somebody else on Twitter too when I had said that, and they're like, "Oh, well, no. If he comes back, he is the starter. He deserves that." No, that's not how this game works. If he comes back, I see him as more of a mentor and a backup role. And that would be huge for both Rapp and the guy who I think is going to be the starting other safety, which is Cole Bishop. So whether Micah Hyde would agree to come back in that role or not, I don't know. I just don't think he is starter material anymore. And because of the injuries, because he's only 31, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, a lot of players play in their early 30s still and continue to be effective. But he would be huge for Cole Bishop to learn and help teach and develop those safeties. So
he would, but I don't think that Brandon Beane would want. If Hyde comes back, it's because he can and is going to be the starter, in my opinion. And I would rather have it that way. I would rather have it be Cole Bishop playing his natural position, the strong safety, playing a little bit more down towards the box, towards the line of scrimmage, with Micah Hyde going out there and playing free safety in center field. Basically telling period, point blank, nothing behind you. And if you give Micah that opportunity to just sit back and keep everything forward. Like that, he can still do that. He's still got enough in the tank to do that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, dropping down to the box and playing a little bit more physical in the line of scrimmage, I think that's where he struggles a little bit. And that's where, the yin and yang of he and Poyer were so fantastic. I think I think he would just beat out Edwards. I think at this point in time, I still think he's a better safety than Mike Edwards. I mean, Edwards was a spot starter for Kansas City last year. He was never the consistent starter. Taylor Rapp.
He was.
Taylor Rapp, I think they really want to keep him at that safety 3, which is perfect. I think he's just the perfect sub package guy to come in if they do want to take Tarrant off the field, or even albeit one of the 2 linebackers. I just don't think Micah comes back unless he's gonna get significant playing time, because otherwise, what's the point of coming back? At that point, go hang out with your family, or go to the actual coaching side of the football. Because you also got to remember, if he's a free agent, Bean still has to pay him. So I understand you could take the vet minimum for 1.65, but that still goes on the cap against the Bucks. So if he's only going to be there to be a coach, throw him $1 million this year. Have Pagula open his checkbook, toss him a cool mill, and just be an assistant defensive backs coach at that point.
Yeah, just to jump backwards on Mike Edwards really quick. He played over 600 snaps, so he was more than just a spot starter.
Played.
Yeah, he was in on, that's starter snap level right there. But I'm with you though. I'm not a big fan of Mike Edwards, but I also don't really subscribe to the theory of this. The strong safety versus the free safety, the way that this defense operates. And it's the thing that we've even heard Bill Belichick make comments about. It's why they're so difficult to read, is because those guys are interchangeable. So I don't believe that just because Cole Bishop might have been this in college, that's the only thing he can do at the NFL level. So I'm not a big fan of Mike Edwards. I don't think he's that great. If you look at his Pro Football Focus grades, they're terrible. Taylor Rapp's weren't much better, to be honest, but I also think that Rapp was asked to do something a little bit different than just be a safety last year. So I think that might have affected a little bit of his coverage opportunities and things like that. But I with Micah Hyde, it is a concern because of the injuries, but I just think he could be a huge asset to that defense if they could agree, for him to come back for a year and as more of a, if he earns a spot, if he outplays those guys, by all means. I'm not saying that I don't want him to be a starter. I want the best guys in there. I don't really care what their name is.
I just think with him on the team, I think he and Bishop would genuinely be the 2 best starters.
Real quick, do you recall the Mike Edwards deal? What we paid him?
It was cheap.
I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't much. It was a 1 year cheap deal.
Was that like so obviously we don't know about Micah Hyde yet still. So do you think like he was like a security net? We'll go through OTAs, see how things work. He is a veteran safety that's played in the league several years. If Micah Hyde wasn't coming back, he is another set of eyes on these younger guys, giving them tips and stuff. And then, do you think, if something goes wrong at OTAs, then, maybe then they really, really look to add Micah back?
Well, Mike,
it sounds like they want to bring him back.
Yeah,
it does. And bringing up OTAs is a good point because Micah is an older player. So, I mean, who knows? He could just be taking his time. I'm still weighing out my options. And this way, there's no drama about him not being at OTAs. He doesn't have to worry about it. He can work out how he wants. He is a pro's pro. Like he knows what he needs to do to be ready come September.
Yeah. But if we see August. If we see something or the coaches see something that say, Mike Edwards isn't the guy or Cole Bishop isn't going to be able to do it this year, then you think, you'd probably pursue him more, right?
Yeah, they'd probably throw a couple more bucks at him,
in
my opinion, to try to tempt him a little bit more. I'm
keeping hope for Ronnie.
after yesterday,
But Casey's keeping it realistic, I think.
I just don't think he's going to do it.
He might be 100% right. Yeah, I mean, there's also the selfish, not really selfish, honestly, but there's a part of me that wants so bad for him and Poyer to have gotten that ring
Yeah.
or at the very least experience that, and they didn't get that opportunity to do so. One more, like Alan said,
Yeah.
one more year. Just give us one more year.
But they were key parts of an awesome Bills team.
They were huge.
Now, do you think if Poyer resigned with the Bills, that Hyde would have already resigned?
No,
No, really.
I don't. I don't think. I don't think what Poyer decided to do, or the team decided to do with Poyer, whichever way that worked, would have affected his decision one way or the other. Because a lot of that being because the fact that he has already said, it's either Bills or retire. That to me says that I don't really care. Like, he could have signed with the Dolphins too if he really wanted to stick with his best friend, Jordan Poyer. That probably was on the table, and I'm sure there's other teams that probably reached out to Hyde as well. Said, "Hey, where are you at?" And he's basically, "No, I'm either retiring or I'm playing for Buffalo. That's it. Those are the only two options."
Yeah, but I think if Jordan Poyer was on the Bills, I think it just adds another temptation to it to be like, all right, all right.
There definitely
let's
would be
do this
temptation,
again.
but
my dog's there. Like we're going one more time. Like it's, but now that he's not there, that that part of the temptation's gone. It's like, well, does he want to try to help, grow a new safety? Does he want to try to make Mike Edwards better than what he's proven so far in the NFL?
Mm.
And all this talk about safeties, what's going to happen with DeMar Hamlin, with Mike Edwards, Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop. I mean, if Micah Hyde makes his team, and Cam Lewis, they re-signed Cam Lewis to, I think it was a 3-year deal. So that kind of leaves DeMar Hamlin on the outside looking in right now, in my opinion. And that's without Micah Hyde being in the room. So this safety room, it's starting to get bunched up. And if you add in Micah Hyde in there, it's, there's going to be some tough decisions. And I think Mike Edwards would probably be the one. Mike Edwards and Hamlin would be the two that lose it.
Yeah. There could be other corners looking for that special teams role too, right?
Yeah. Where is your confidence level with the safety room right now, considering Hyde or not? To me,
with Hyde, I'm good. Without Hyde, I'm nervous because I don't know what Mike Edwards is going to be. I don't know. There's nobody in our safety room currently that is a natural center field safety.
Which is why I think Cole Bishop earns a starting spot. I think he is the most talented in that room.
Agreed. I think that he is going to be the one and can be the one to do that. But there isn't currently one. And, so now you're relying on a rookie to do something he hasn't done, a whole heck of a lot of. So
he's never played in the league, period. So we really don't know what we're getting.
But just playing high ball safety, high field safety. It's worrisome. But if I can have Micah Hyde in there, basically being like, "Hey, young J Po, this is what you need to do, where you need to be. On 3, you drop, I come up, or I drop, you come up. That's my dream for this year is to." I was hoping one of the safeties would stay to train the young guy, so that way next year we can bring in another young guy and then start a duo that way. And now our rookie from this year's got a year under his belt. He can help work with the new rookie.
Before we move to the linebackers, corners, and all of that, let me ask you guys this: we haven't had an inductee on the Wall of Fame in a really long time. Ring of Honor, right?
Yeah,
that's what it's called in the stadium. In a long time. Should Hyde and Poyer be on that?
It's got to be like both at once, right?
Yeah, because you can't put one and not the other.
It's tough for me because I would put them on there, but there's a handful of guys over the last 20 years that should be on there that are not.
100%.
So I think the team. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say starting with Kyle Orton.
No. No,
Might-
no, no.
Might
Cement
be
feet
my
or
favorite.
no.
Might be my favorite Bills player of all time.
I don't even know why. If you just said Fitzpatrick, I would have believed that more so.
Because what other quarterback is throwing hammers on the sideline in between drives?
Oh, here's a couple of names. John Robert mentions Eric Moulds. He should definitely be on there.
Yeah.
Roy
Agreed.
Collins says it's too soon for them, and that's kind of where I'm at with Poyer
Yeah.
and Hyde. It is too soon. They need to. We're going to have a whole show about this though, because there's a bunch of guys that we're going to talk about that probably should be there. But how about the corners first? No Tre'Davious White, and I want to kind of address that really quick and say this: we haven't really had Tre'Davious White in 2 years. To me, that's not really a loss.
Right.
I
So,
know it hurt. Everybody's heart broke when the news came out that he was being released, but we knew it was coming. There's no way that they're going to not cut him.
Yeah.
And it sucks. But we haven't really had him for 2 seasons, and the 4 or 5 games that we did have him, he was still not himself yet. So when I look at this defense and this team as a whole, I know there's a lot of talk about roster turnover and new faces this year, but there's really not. If you really break it down and look at who the starting group is going to be, it's a lot of the same people still.
Yeah.
Aside from the
Really?
safeties, that's about it. And
that's the only change is the safety.
You're
Yeah.
talking
But
like a couple positions. Yeah.
But safety is integral to Sean McDermott's
is.
defensive plan, which
is.
why it makes it so hard. You know, it makes it seem like such a big loss because I mean it is like positionally it is.
Could be sink or swim for Cole Bishop,
Yeah,
I think
But-
so.
I mean
which
that's
might
what a lot
not be
of
the
people-
worst thing,
Yeah, that's what some people need.
right?
Yeah. Who are the starting corners? 1 and 2.
That's not hard.
Go, Casey.
That's not hard.
Douglas.
Taryn, Douglas, and Benford.
Yeah.
Elam is the perfect CB3 that you could ask for.
Yeah. Mike, you think any different?
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. The one thing that I will throw in here just to, throw a wrench in all of it, if the safety position struggles.
If you say move Benford to safety, I'm going to punch you in the mouth.
But what
move
can't
Rasul
Benford do?
Douglas,
We saw
move
him.
Rasul Douglas to safety.
Not everybody's Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Not everybody.
A lot of people
Benford
have
is
done it. A
multi-talented.
lot.
We saw him selling chips and popcorn at the stadium, at the baseball.
Yeah,
game.
I saw those videos. There have been tons of guys over the years that have moved from corner to safety. Tons. It happens all the time.
Not at the end of their career. Not
But we
during
like-
the prime of Rasul Douglas's
We like
career.
Rasul Douglas at corner too much, I think.
Yeah, like he's too
But-
good at corner. Like you don't
He's
same,
good.
Same thing with Benford. You can't move. Like you can't move.
I love Benford at corner. And I'm not going to sit here and pound on the table for Kyrie Elam. I do think he'll take a step. How big that step is, who knows? I don't think he's done, though. But if the safety position as it is right now, if it struggles and they need to find answers, you can put Douglas in that spot, and he can do just fine and probably maybe better than what's in there right now because he does have the skill set to do it. He actually, if you break down his athletic profile and speed and all of that, he fits more of a safety role. And he is a physical guy. He will get down in the box and make those plays. So, and we've seen
but-
Kyrie Elam play corner and do okay at times. We've
The
seen him really struggle.
The
but-
physicality is only part of it. It's being able to play the position, semi-naturally, and how, and how to come up, like when to drop, when to come up, exactly what your job is. I mean, he's learning. It's a whole new position. And again, going back to Sean McDermott's scheme, it's basically the heartbeat of the defense. And I just I'm not ready to move. I just because now you're changing 2 whole positions. Now you're taking a starter out of
Right.
one and putting it into another. So now you basically have 2 backups in 2 positions instead of just having 1 backup of 1 position.
I think a lot of it depends on Elam and also the other practice squad guy. Why can I never remember his name? Something
Jamarcus Ingram. How much money do you want to bet Rasul Douglas doesn't play a single snap this year at safety, at
Oh, I'm
either
not
high
betting
safety
on that.
position? That's
I'm
what
not
I
betting
thought.
on that. Well, that would be stupid. I'm not dumb. I'm just saying that is an option. That's a possibility if the safety position struggles.
So all right,
Everything does not have to be a bet, Casey. Okay.
well, let's put
Every time we
Jamarcus
disagree, it's not a bet.
Then let's put Jamarcus Ingram in at safety. I almost
All right.
went off the rails there for a minute.
Go ahead. Put him at safety. Go ahead.
Do it. Ronnie said
Roy
do it.
says
Casey
relax.
said do
We
it.
still
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Hamlin.
Hey,
Um,
apparently Roy missed that. We might not for long. That's a bunched room.
Yeah, I think he's definitely on the chopping block. I'm not advocating for that move. I'm just simply saying that is something that could potentially happen. And you before I even got to that, you started throwing Benford out there. It's like, don't you dare say Benford. They played him at safety too. So
They did it one. They did it in one practice.
my
One.
point is,
His rookie year.
this defense, because they stress so much on flexibility and they cross-train guys so much, I have no question, no doubt that either one of them can make that switch if they needed to. I don't want them to. I'm not saying do it because it would be better, because it wouldn't. If you have that big of an issue in the safety room, we're in trouble.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
You just make a trade at that point.
Maybe, but who are you going to go trade for? They don't
I
have
don't
a lot
know.
of money.
The Dolphins traded Minka Fitzpatrick in the middle of the season, like that.
We can't afford Fitzpatrick, though. That's my point. Is we can't afford any kind of big name.
We can afford a
trade
year
right
rental.
now.
We can afford a year rental.
I'm tired of
Team friendly
rentals.
deal. We're going to the Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
All right. That's about all we
So,
have with the corners. I don't think there's really much more to beat up there, but
should we save the linebackers and D line for Thursday?
Oh, we are around 57 minutes right now.
yeah, we'll do that. We'll push the D line and linebackers to our Thursday night show. We'll break those down. I don't know that there's a whole heck of a lot to talk about with the linebackers. However, there is a concern there that we need to talk about. You guys got anything you want to add?
Don't do drugs, otherwise you'll sound like Ronnie.
Yeah. Good one.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Otherwise, everybody moves to safety.
No, just Douglas.
Oh, my.
I'll go play safety for him. What the hell? Let's do it.
I couldn't imagine.
Right. Open tryouts.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to get out of here. Like I said, if you're watching on Twitter, please jump over to the YouTube app. Give us a subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Same thing with Facebook. Please follow, share, all that other stuff. And we'll see you all Thursday night. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Jordan Poyer said it best. We have the best quarterback. Screw the Dolphins. Go Bills.